tearing me apart every
Hello, and welcome to everybody out there. You're watching or listening to Amateur Radio Roundtable. This show is about ham radio, shortwave listening, electronics enthusiasts. We welcome all, and we're so glad to have you. If you're out there listening on International Shortwave Station WBCQ tonight, we really would like to hear from you. If you will, send us an email to tom@w5kub.com, tom@w5kub.com. We'd love to hear from you. And you can also join our show Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time, by going to W5KUB, and you actually be joining the video show. We also have a chat room where you can chat with others around the world, and you can chat with us directly during the show. If you will, please hit the subscribe button. It should be right down here somewhere. Subscribe button. Boy, it'd really help us out if you'll hit that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. Also, we would like you to join our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is just called W5KUB. Just do a search on Facebook for W5KUB. We've got over 13,000 members in our group now. It's about ham radio and shortwave and electronics. And we'll get you right in there. We'd love to have you join us there. Some people are asking, hey, what about my face? Well, hey, what do you think, Glenn? Is it better tonight?
Yeah, it does look a little bit better.
Yeah, it's on the hill. Yeah, it's starting to get lighter and lighter. I would say next week, I don't know if it'll be completely gone or not, but for those new that hadn't followed us the last couple weeks, I had a couple small red spots on my cheeks from sun that it could possibly turn into like a cancer down the road. So we had it treated with some chemo cream, and that cream just goes on you. You know, I put it on for 14 days, and the skin turned really, really red, and it falls off, and then you're well. So that's what happened. You know, you really want to hear the real story about me in the nuclear power plant, you're going to have to go back 2 weeks to the story about that. All right, let's see what else is going on here. Hey, we're on nearly every podcast. Please, if you hadn't tried it, you might want to. We've got a lot of people that listen to us just audio anytime, day or night, at work or driving down the road. We're on nearly every podcast carrier out there, from iNet Radio to Google Play to iTunes. We're there. Every episode is on there. So just go to any podcast carrier and search for our Amateur Radio Roundtable, and you will find us there, I'm sure. All right, let's see. Any other announcements here we got? All right, before we get into business for tonight, let's welcome Glen back. Glen just returned from Orlando. How you doing, Glen? Come on in here, man. Oh, what is that I'm looking at?
That's a cat.
Oh, man. I thought maybe you bought a fur coat down there.
Yeah, no. It was nice and warm down there. Actually, it was really, really good. Went down Wednesday and went to the Kennedy Space Center and spent Thursday there. And then, of course, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was the Hamfest. And attendance looked like it was actually better this year than last year, and it was really good. They had a lot of good stuff, and I came home, just a couple of pounds under the weight limit on the suitcase, but the backpack was a little bit overstuffed, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah,
all right,
really good time.
Well, now have you got some pictures you're going to be able to show us tonight?
Yes, I do. I got a whole bunch of slides that I took down there, so yep, we'll be all
good.
set.
That's good. We'll looking forward to seeing those in just a minute here. All right. Well, it looks like it's just me and you tonight, but we've got a few things here. I've got a video from Alan that I was going to show tonight. It's about 8 minutes, but it's a really interesting video. We'll get into that a little later. And I know there's a lot of interest out there. Let me just make just one announcement tonight. I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but everybody knows what's going on here with with this guy here, and the U.S. has shot down 4 more balloons, they say, or something. They don't know what they shot down. So let me just mention this, guys. We have verified, and we know that they have shot down 1 Pico balloon. I'm not going to give the call out right now, but they've shot down 1 Pico balloon. And there was a meeting with the FBI today, and they were very nice, I understand, very nice, and just had questions and trying to understand what our ham radio balloons do. And I think the solution here is to try to find some way for the government to kind of know what's going on now that the world's getting kind of funny, So there are plenty of ways out there, that I guess Pico balloon flyers could let, I'm not sure who to let know. As you may or may not know, we are working with one government agency, NOAA, and NOAA for the last couple of years has been using our data from our Pico balloon flights to help improve their models for the public. So at least one government organization knows about it. And so anyway, there'll be more next week. I'm sure I'll be able to talk to you more next week and give you a lot more information about that. And we'll just see where it goes there. I saw a note there in the chat room. They're mentioning a hazard to commercial flights. It's really not a hazard. The FAA says, and they feel with the regulations, that these balloons are no hazard to flight. In fact, if you look up the FAA regulations, guess what? It says unpowered, unmanned balloons have the right of way over any powered aircraft. So I don't know. Take that for whatever it's worth. I've got a pilot friend here who's been flying commercially 35 years. He has never seen a balloon in the air in 35 years. And he's got a bunch of hours in jets like the 767 and the wide bodies. Okay, so I kind of got that out of the way. That's all I'll say on it tonight. And we'll talk more about it probably next week there. Well, Glenn, let's talk a little about Hamcation. I couldn't go. Now, I guess my first question, Glenn, is you were supposed to bring me back something. What did you bring me?
I'll have to show you.
Oh.
Well, either that, or you're going to have this nice little carabiner and strap from Ham Radio Deluxe.
Now, if I'm mountain climbing, would that be good to put on my belt to tether to?
No, it is not rated for that kind of stuff.
Oh,
no.
Man. Oh, okay.
There's a lot of fun stuff down there, though. Lot of really cool stuff out in the flea market this year, as you'll see. But I mean, I tell you what, on Friday that place was jam packed in the swaps area and in the main building. Yeah. And ran into Joe Eisenberg, of course, there, and Teresa and a couple others. And I also met an old high school friend who I had not seen in 47 years.
Is that right?
WD4ORM. We used the ARRL app, and I noticed his name, and I messaged him and asked if he is the one from high school, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, cool. So we ended up meeting on Saturday and Sunday and caught up on 47 years worth of stuff.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
All right. Well, that's cool. Wish we could have gone. We just too much wear and tear on our body.
You missed a good one. The weather was really kind of neat. It was cool, but it was sunny. Whenever it rained overnight. So by the time you got to the Hamfest in the morning, the ground was relatively dry, no problems there. And, it maybe sprinkled a little bit on Sunday, but not at all. I mean, it was perfect weather.
Well, look, we've told people this before. Let me just mention again. Last time Glen and I went down there, we were on an airplane full of cheerleaders. It was all cheerleaders. And when we got to the airport, the cheerleaders, they stole our baggage and took our baggage to their hotel. Now, I don't guess you had any problem with cheerleaders this year, did you? Did you see any?
Yes,
did you see any cheerleaders?
The plane was full of cheerleaders.
Oh, man.
But they did not lose my luggage. Matter of fact, mine was about the first off the plane. So I got in and out of the airport very quick.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm
was a
glad you made it.
Really good flight.
Glad you made it, I'd hate you to end up with a cheerleader's suitcase and you have to, wear their clothes.
Yeah.
You would not. I don't think you would look good in a cheerleader outfit. Just saying.
No, people would pay me not to wear that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But still, all in all, it was a really great weekend. I think Joe Eisenberg won 4 door prizes, so his record's continuing.
Yeah. Well,
but
I'll challenge him in Huntsville this year.
Oh, I'm gonna have to challenge both of you in Huntsville.
Yeah, I'll challenge you in Huntsville this year. Okay. Well, hey, let's jump into it, man. Let's see some pictures.
All right.
Show me some good stuff here.
Okay, let's get this shared up here. There we go. There we go. And as you can see, we did go to the Kennedy Space Center on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something. That is fabulous. I have not been there since I was 13. And it's changed just a little bit. When I went there, Apollo 10 was on the pad. And, this time around, they had just had some fabulous exhibits. And one of the cool things, and it was just one of those accidentally overhearing something in the gift shop. They were saying that there was a free bus tour out to the control room of the original Apollo flight. And so we took the bus tour, and you're actually able to go inside and watch a show in the same building, in the same area where they had the control room for the Apollo launches. And I mean, how many times did we see all that on television?
Yeah.
And to be sitting in that kind of history was really, really cool. But this is actually the Atlantis. They have it mounted inside one of the buildings there. Really, really cool exhibit. And for a certain amount of money, they'll even let you fly one.
Really?
And, well, looky here. You see me sitting there. They're letting me fly it. So I guess anybody can if they let me do it.
Is that you?
That's me.
Couldn't tell it.
Yeah. Now, this is the Hamfest there on Friday. Looking down the vendor building, you can see it's pretty well packed in there.
Yeah.
And a lot of good vendors, lot of stuff. And oh, look, they even had my book there. And
all right, good.
They had a whole bunch of books there. Then, of course, the Yaesu display, just have to do that. I mean, that was just a very impressive row of radios there between Yaesu and Flex, and Icom had some really cool looking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This was the Swaps building just as it was opening up, and this place was absolutely full of really, really cool stuff. Let me show you. For example, you've had this nice old clock, but some very antique radios in there as well. And this was my forum the Arduino forum that I did there. And that was literally almost a full house.
You had a good turnout.
When we actually started. Yeah. By the time we got started, it was full.
Mm-hmm.
And had a lot of fun with that one. Hopefully I'll get to do it at Dayton. And this is my favorite place in the whole Hamfest. You know, not only did they have salad so I could eat right, they had everything else that I needed to enjoy the show.
Well, good.
Now, to tell you how eclectic some of this stuff is, there's a Civil War era officer's field desk and writing box with the quill pen and ink eraser knife.
What's the price on it?
$75.
You should have bought that and brought it back for me.
I almost did.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Skycraft Parts and Surplus was there. And I love their little display that they have out there. This was a view of the outdoor swaps area and the RV parking. You can see there are nothing but RVs as far as the eye can see. The building off to the far right there has 2 large tents, and that's where the forums were. And basically, about halfway down, that's where all of the outdoor flea market was. And it was jam-packed. A lot of good stuff. But, you know, that whole area was just full of RVs.
Mm-hmm.
And here's looking at a different angle. You can see even more stuff off to the right. And basically everything in this picture here was swap area and forum. So this is really, really good outdoor swaps. And then, of course, here's some of the good stuff they had there. You know, some of the old antique radios as well. I really wanted to get some of these home. They looked really nice.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been fun to play with. And, of course, you know, if you want to run your own little business, you could have bought yourself a cash register. That was really pretty, too, though. A lot of fun stuff. Oh, and this was an interesting part of the show. On Sunday, I won this power supply at a noon drawing. It is the Diamond GZV 4000. It's about, 10-something pounds or thereabouts. But
Wow.
you look at the size.
Man, Glen, I don't remember you winning anything that big.
I have never won anything that big or that valuable.
Now, that's a 12-volt power supply? Is it like 30 amp
12
or
volt,
something?
40 amps.
That's good. Cool,
And
man.
here's the fun part now.
I bet the fun part was getting it home.
Yes, this was Sunday. My bags were packed. I was going straight from the Hamfest to the airport. I had, my suitcase was at weight limit minus 2 pounds.
Ooh.
So there was no room for this in the suitcase.
Yeah.
So with the help of my buddy, WD4ORM, George, and some advice from Joe Eisenberg, we took the thing out of the box and it managed to just barely fit inside my backpack. Which made things interesting when you went through airport security.
Wow, man. That's some story there, man.
I am lucky. Believe it or not, it sailed right through. I guess they had seen enough Hamfest stuff by that time that didn't matter, and just sailed right on through. But I ended up having to carry that in a backpack on the way home because I literally had no room in anywhere else. And
cool.
That's the Hamfest.
Now, are you sure I'm getting that little clip instead of that power supply?
You are not getting that power supply.
Oh,
no,
man.
That's mine.
Do you need that power supply?
I really do need it, yes.
I've only got 3 or 4. I need it.
But, I can give you some connectors and some odds and ends and some stuff that I bought. But you ain't getting the power supply. That is the biggest prize I've ever won at a Hamfest.
That was a nice prize there, too. It really was.
Yeah, it was really cool because Joe Eisenberg actually called me and told me I won because I was so busy talking I wasn't paying attention to the drawings, and this was like the 11 o'clock Sunday drawing.
Yeah. Well, see, when I get there, I get so busy I don't hear the drawings. I don't check the drawings. If you didn't check, would you have lost that?
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh,
but
wow.
I would have checked before then because
Yeah.
I was in the main hall,
Yeah.
Or the main area waiting for the drawing. So I would have caught it before it was given to somebody.
Printer. We hadn't seen anything in a long time.
I haven't used it at all. That's Joe Eisenberg. I just now got mine out of the box and it is upstairs waiting to be assembled, but I have not had time. As a matter of fact, part of this trip, I was able to sit down with some folks from ARRL, and we have pretty much nailed down 1 to 2 more books in the pipeline, in addition to the one that's going to be coming out this May or June.
All right. Well, hey, I'm glad you got down here. Glad you had fun. You made it back safely. When's the next Hamfest?
For me, it's probably going to be Memphis Free Fest in April.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there.
I believe there's one in Corinth as well around that time. Doesn't that Corinth have the April Fool's Hamfest?
Yeah, yeah.
Might do that. And then, of course, there's Dayton in May.
Yeah. We've decided not to go to Dayton this year.
Hopefully I get to do a forum in Dayton this year. But otherwise, it's a possibility that my new book will be out. So we'll be doing book signings and stuff like that there.
Chris says Houston is coming up March 3rd and 4th. Yeah, I think I'm going to be...
That's too soon. I no longer have any time off from work.
3rd and 4th. How far is Houston from New Orleans? Is that close?
Probably going to be about a 6-7 hour drive.
Man. I'm gonna be in New Orleans on the 3rd. Man, I can just scoot right over there and
you can just scoot right over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
I know it's like 10 hours from here. So
5 hours. Chris says it's 5 hours, but I'm not even gonna have my car. I'm gonna take the train, man. Had never done this before. We're gonna take the train to New Orleans and the train back home.
That'll be fun.
That way we get to kind of kick back, doze a little bit, during the drive and all that stuff, and hear that clickety noise, and
yeah, maybe. They made a movie about that though.
Yeah,
it was called Silver Streak.
Oh yeah. I saw that.
You really, stay inside the train.
Yeah. All right. Watch out for that bad spot in the tracks near Vicksburg. Okay. All right. Oh man. Oh. All right. Hey, let's do something. We'll be right back. Everybody, don't go away. We got a good crew here tonight. We got several things to show and talk about. We'll be right back. Cabin fever. Spring into the new year with Icom. Icom's newest amateur FM transceiver is the IC V3500, and it's ready to hit the road with whatever you're doing. With a compact body and simple interface, this radio is a must for those looking for a long-range mobile with a fresh look. The IC-T10 is a rugged portable that meets or exceeds standard military testing. With an IP67 waterproof rating, the IC-T10 can withstand any field activities ahead. Hear any transmission and listen to FM broadcasts with the loud 1.5 watt speaker. The IC705 is a perfect sidekick and QRP companion. Base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers. It's a portable package. It covers HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at just over 2 pounds with an RF direct sampling. Most of the HF bands and IF sampling. The ID5100A is innovation and mobility taken to the next level. Designed from user input, the ID5100 offers an intuitive user interface experience with an industry-leading touchscreen display. Additionally, the ID5100 connects with Android devices and Bluetooth headsets via the optional Bluetooth module. The ID5100A is one of the most advanced dual-band mobiles on the market today. And last but not least is the ID52A. It's a VHF-UHF dual-bander with D-Star and FM dual-mode functions, and is the first handheld amateur radio with a full-color 2.3-inch waterfall display. This radio supports conventional FM communications and D-Star simplex repeater, regional, and worldwide calls over the D-Star Internet Gateway. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on Icom Radio. All right, we are back. Okay. Let's see what we're gonna do. Oh, I know what to do. I think I showed you guys this a few weeks ago. Let me get a video on here. I want to show you something I'm building. I think you'll like it. I'm going to enjoy playing with it. Let's see if I got it going here. Here we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do, guys, I built up using a ESP32 processor or whatever that thing is. Here's the display on the front there. There's the SI 5153 and the encoder switch and buttons. So it's all built up. We had trouble loading the firmware in it. Not sure why, but my friend, our friend Michael, up in Chicago area, he also built the same one here, and his program fine. So he's sending me the board here. I should have it in a couple of days. I'm just going to unplug this one and plug the program board in. And then here's what I've got. And what I'm going to do with this is, it's called a retro VFO. And I'm going to explain that to you. It's a VFO that covers from like 10 kilohertz to about 160 megahertz. But I'm going to show you a little video. And this is all, digital. What kind of screen is it? Glen, OLD, what do you call the screen?
Well, it depends on it. Typically, they're a TFT color display, or an organic LED display. The organic LEDs are just one color. Typically,
I thought it was called. This is a color screen, so I thought it's called OLD or something. OL.
No, that's a TFT display.
Oh, TFT. Okay, so there's the display right there.
Yeah, color TFT.
Yeah,
display.
color TFT. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that in a box. And my planning is going to be something like this right here. Let me see. I got a picture of my box. Yeah, right there. So you can see the little octopus there. So I'm going to take the box, cut the front panel out. The big knob there will be frequency. I'm going to add a little knob up there for a level output, the RF level output, where I can go from 10 dBm down to 0 dB. There'll be a BNC connector under the level control there. There's 3 other switches that I will put below the display, and that's going to be for stepping this signal generator up or stepping it down. The other one will be a button for memory, and if you press the big knob, which is on the rotary encoder, the big knob will actually store a frequency. So my plans for this is, it's just a nice little RF signal generator. I've got other RF signal generators, but I was so impressed with the screen. Now this color screen, I want you to look at this in the video. This is not an analog dial. It looks like the old-fashioned disc, with the writing on the disc, and it looks like the disc is turning, the old style. But this is all done with software, and I want you to look at this. You're going to be surprised on how well it looks. Let me see if I can get it large screen. That might work. All right, let's see. Get that right there. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at the screen here. The dial. Now those aren't mechanical wheels. That is dots. That's dots on the display moving, and it makes it look like a mechanical dial. But I thought that was so neat. I just had to have it. What do you think about that? Doesn't that look good, Glen?
I think that's really cool. Now, are they doing that with a library, or how are they getting that done?
Well, the best I can tell you is they're doing it with magic. I don't know. I'm not good at programming stuff like that. But you can see what it does. Michael's got his working, so he's just going to send me the chip. I'll plug it in here, and mine will be working. I'll put it in the box, So I think it is so cool, man, to see that. To see that, it looks like a mechanical retro dial turning, man. It looks so good. I said, I gotta have one of these, man.
Frequency oscillator VFO is an oscillator.
I'd really like to see the code for that.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's out there, and I can send it to you. And hey, you might want to do you one.
Oh, I probably will.
You might want to do it. So here's my question to everybody. Boy, I always have trouble with this. The finished product is always my toughest piece. And that little piece of plastic in the front of that case will slide out of there. But I've got to cut a square hole. And this time I want it to be square. I don't want it to be octagon shape or trapezoid shape like they always turn out. I want it being perfect, I got me a little template there. But that's plastic. It's probably, I don't know, 1/8 inch thick. Somehow I got to cut it. And I'm not sure. You got to be careful with it. You drill it, you'll crack these things, they'll break, so you got to be very careful. I was thinking maybe, Glenn, maybe I heat up some type razor knife or a hacksaw blade or something like that, and that maybe use the heat to cut through the plastic, or
assuming that you can get that plastic hot and it's not a heat resistant material. I actually use the wood burning stuff and it with an X-Acto blade on it, so it's like a soldering iron that has an X-Acto blade on it.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
It will heat it.
That's what I'm thinking.
But it doesn't do clean cuts because of the way it melts. You'll have to cut it and then file it down.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
To get it to where you want it.
So another thing I could do, and I don't, I've got all kinds of tools, but you know what a coping saw is?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a little, U-shaped saw. It's got a real little fine blade in it, I think that's what a coping saw is.
Yeah, the problem is most of those teeth are a little too
big.
Too big
too coarse
to cut. You need stuff that's almost like a hacksaw blade.
Well, I'm thinking
blade.
maybe my best bet might be to drill holes in the corner of that template there and take that coping saw and stick the blade through it. That might, and just be very careful and support that plastic, as I'm cutting it. I don't know. That's going to be my biggest problem in this whole project.
I would do it with heat rather than trying to cut it, because one mistake and you've cracked it.
Well, that's true. I've melted this stuff before, and like you say, it leaves an edge up there. You got to cut off, file off, and I just really would like nice, straight, clean cuts. And what I might have to do, what some people do, is put a bezel around it to cover that up, and you could take black tape and actually put a little black tape bezel around it, to make it look a little better. Of course, if you screw it up, but that's the next project. I'm hoping maybe by next week or the next that I'll have that thing running here and I can show you guys. It's going to be kind of cool here. Let's see. Yeah, David here said the screen I was looking for was an OLED, right? Right, Glenn?
Yeah,
OLED?
but that's not an organic LED. An organic LED is typically one color.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's a bright fluorescent aquamarine type color.
Okay.
That can be seen in daylight. The TFT are thin film transistors, and they're more like standard LEDs, but multicolor.
Yeah. Well, I know nothing when it comes to that part right there. I can put the wires together, but man, I have trouble with firmware. I never did any kind of programming or anything. That's why I have you and others out there. Oh, let's see. 3D print the panel with the openings in it. Well, hey, that could be an idea. I mean, but I don't know. So hey, talk to me here, Glenn, about like a 3D printer. The reason I never got a 3D printer is because it takes like 5 hours to print something, and I wouldn't know how to program a thing for something new. I would have to use existing templates. You know, if I wanted to make an insulator or a nut or something like that, I mean, there probably wouldn't be a template out there for this window on the front of this box and my holes. You know, how would you?
No, you'd have to do your own CAD with it.
Was that easy? Is that easy to do, to lay that out, or?
I would think it is. The person to talk to on that would be somebody like Joe Eisenberg, and see how he does it. Because mine is still, you know, basically just came out of the box, but it's still in pieces upstairs.
Yeah.
I have to retire first before I have time to use all my toys.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You know, one of my other projects I've got going here is and the weather's starting to get pretty nice out. You know, it's getting up in the 70s here. And, by the way, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Valentine's Day. Gee, I'm going crazy here, man. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. Now, back to where I was talking about.
You see how I'm spending my Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go to work today.
Oh, man, poor thing.
Here tonight, man, I'm just totally out of luck.
Poor thing. So I've got my satellite rotors ready to go. I just need to go up there and swap out the 2 rotors I've got up there, and I'm going to swap out the antennas. Let's see if Rick's in here. WA4NVM. Is he in the chat room? Let me see if Rick's in here. WA4. I don't see him in here. WA4NVM. He's skipping the show tonight. He's got the antennas over here I'm going to get from him. It's the M square circular polarized antennas for UHF and VHF. So I'm going to put those up, put my new Yaesu satellite rotor up, and then my satellite station will be finished, and it'll be much easier to operate. I won't have to manually try to move the azimuth, move the elevation, and so forth. And again, guys, several of you give me some feedback. I think several people have ordered the SAT system. And there it is right there. That is the complete satellite system. It's got every satellite in it. It does everything. It controls my rotor. It aims the antenna. You don't even need internet. You don't even need a computer to work satellite. That's how neat this little box is right here. And it's a lot of fun, actually. And it takes the work out. It makes it easy to work satellite. So that's one of the next projects right there that we'll work on. All right, so let's see. Okay, we're back to me here. Let me check okay, Chuck says easy as pie. I guess that's easy as pie. 3D printing is fun.
Yeah, and then Mark is saying there are websites with tools so that you create print files.
Yeah.
I also know that this website called Thingiverse has got all sorts of objects and stuff that you can 3D print.
Yeah.
So you may be able to cut and paste and steal stuff from them.
Yeah.
To get what you need.
Hot wire cutter. Andy said hot wire cutter. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Like you and I were talking about, the metal hot blade, like an X-Acto knife.
Yeah, but how are you going to get a hot wire cutter?
Well, that's the problem. I mean, you'd have to drill a hole to get it through.
Yeah, there's no.
And then by the time, I was going to say, then by the time you get it all tightened back up and everything, it gets cool. But if you're running current through it, see, while it's in there, it'll stay hot. Maybe some nichrome wire.
That's why I use the wood burning set. It's I do it with those little solar botics enclosures for the Arduino, and it bubbles up and everything, but you get it close to cut, and then you can sand it down, and you still don't get that perfect square, though. I mean, there's just no real good way to get a square when you're working with fragile plastic.
Yeah, I know it, man. And you start filing this sucker out, and that plastic's wanting to bend, and especially if you're getting close to the edges. I have broken more pieces as I'm trying to put those holes in there. Let's see. Okay. Well, okay. So that's two projects coming up here real soon. Hey, I'm going to be over in Russellville, Arkansas at the Arkansas River Valley Amateur Radio Forum the end of March, and going to join their club meeting, and I'm going to give a presentation to them over there. I've already contacted my old college there. I'm going to get to go out there to my old dorm and look around. I'm going to see if that thermostat's still on the wall where we took the furnace, the heater apart and added that thing. We didn't have those back when I went to school there. And then let's see, from there we're going to go up on Mount Nebo, 2,000 foot. It's a mountain, but it's only 2,000 foot. I know that's kind of low for some people, but it's really neat up here. It's a flat plateau at 2,000 feet. Nice place to operate VHF contests and things like that from up there. A lot of people from Memphis go up there and rent a cabin and operate the VHF contest from 2,000 feet. So it's a pretty neat place. And then from there, I think we're going to go up to Branson, Missouri, and we're going to check out some shows up there and have some fun. We're going to do some train rides up and down through the country back there, and you know, maybe get away for a week. Anyway, so that's kind of our plan, and we're sticking to it right now. All right, I've got a little video here I want to show you. It's one Alan made, and Alan has been working a lot. Hadn't been with us too much lately, but he has plenty of videos that we can use. And this is a neat video that Alan has put together using a signal generator, and it's kind of unique. I had never really thought about this, but it's using a signal generator and a scope to measure basically the matching of the impedance of an antenna. And he shows you, he builds up just a little box with a few resistors in there, and connects it to his X and Y input on his scope, connects it to the antenna and to the generator, and you can actually watch, and you can see as he tunes the tuner, you can actually watch the waveform come completely in line with each other, and that would be a perfect 50 ohm match. It's kind of neat. It's about 5 minutes. I'm going to put that on, and we're going to watch that for a second, and then we'll be back. So let me see if I can bring that up. Let's see. Yeah, here it is.
Use a scope and a signal generator to help you tune.
Right. Here we go. Here we go.
In today's video, we're going to talk about how to use a scope and a signal generator to help you tune an HF antenna. There's a question that came from one of my YouTube subscribers, ham radio operator. So while it's probably not the best way to tune your antenna, it can be done, and it's an interesting technique, so let's take a look at it. So the circuit is actually pretty simple. It really is just a form of a bridge. We have a signal generator putting out a signal to the top of this circuit here, and effectively it's 4 resistors, if you will, or 3 and then your antenna. So a pair of 50 ohm resistors here, and another 50 ohm resistor, and then your antenna. So the idea is that if the antenna is tuned to a 50 ohm impedance with no reactance, then this bridge effectively will be balanced, and the voltage that appears here and the voltage that appears here will be identical. So we basically just use the scope to look at the voltages at these 2 points. Now in order to do that, we just can't connect the scope up directly because we don't want to affect the impedance of these 2 nodes dramatically. So I included a couple of 1K ohm resistors. The value here is not terribly important. You just want this value to be relatively large compared to the impedance that you're trying to work with, and not too large to create too much of a voltage divider effect. So I chose 1K, but as long as they match, if they were 500 ohms, 800 ohms, 1000 ohms or whatever, that would all work fine. And then we're going to connect up to the scope with 2 pieces of coax here, and these 2 coax have to be of equal length so that we don't introduce any kind of a phase delay between the 2. The scope has to terminate those transmission lines, those coax lines, into 50 ohms. So if your scope doesn't have a 50 ohm input termination, you'll need to use a pair of through terminators here. And then also the scope will have to be set to the same vertical scale for channel 1 and channel 2, because often the delay or the phase, on the input channel will vary by the input attenuator setting. So that's what the setup looks like. And let's go take a look at how I built it. Put the camera down here. So this is the circuit right here. All right. And actually, pretty simple. The RF signal comes in to this port here. And if we look carefully, this is a 50 ohm resistor here, going down to this little pad, another 50 ohm resistor to ground. So that's our reference side, if you will. Okay. We're just dividing 50 and 50. The other side's got a 50 ohm resistor to this connector. This would be the one that connects to the antenna. And those are our two connections. Here is the 1K ohm resistor that goes to one connector for the scope, and here's the other 1K resistor that goes to the other connector for the scope. Now you may also notice these other things down here at the bottom. And what these are for is, let's say you don't have a scope that has 50 ohm input terminators, or you don't have the through terminators to use, but you do have some 10x probes. Another way to do that is use these very low inductance probe sockets that I handmade. In the previous video that I just posted a few days ago, shows how to make these, and this allows you to connect up these 10x probes directly to that circuit, and you could do that for a pair of them. Again, the probes have to match if you want to do it this way. And really, even to make this even better, you could put a resistor in series between this probe connection point and the two test nodes here. That would isolate the probe capacitance even more. But we're going to do it with a direct connection because we can. Put the probe back over here. So what I've got wired into here now, this is coming from my signal generator up to here. This point is going to channel 1 on the scope. This is going out to the antenna. I've actually got an antenna here in the basement that was nominally tuned to operate on 17 meters, but because it's in the basement, it's a little bit mistuned. So we're going to tune it up using the tuner here and using the scope to kind of help us. So we're measuring the voltage across the antenna through that port. Let's kind of sit this thing back here in the vise so it doesn't move. I'll point out on the scope, there's those 50 ohm through terminators right there. So basically these are, they terminate the coax at 50 ohms, and then they connect it directly to the scope so that the stub length, if you will, after that is pretty small. This particular scope doesn't have an option for 50 ohm terminations at the input, like some of the other scopes that I have, but I want to kind of show that. So what we'll do, actually right now I've got the antenna hooked directly to this port, and we're looking at the two voltages, the voltage at the reference point, and what I'm calling the reference point is this point right here. So ideally this voltage and this voltage would kind of match. And we can see I've got two different traces in here, so it means that the antenna is not presenting a 50 ohm resistance, a 50 ohm real impedance at this frequency. I've got the signal generator back behind here set up for 18.130 in the 17 meter band. That's what we're putting into this. So just to kind of show an example, let me pull the antenna off of here. Okay, and I've got a 50 ohm terminator right here. If I stick the 50 ohm terminator on here, actually let's bring the scale down on here. I can see these voltages are now different. This is my reference waveform, the yellow, and then this is the voltage that appears at the test port. And because that's an open circuit, I'm seeing essentially twice the voltage there, and it's in phase. If I put the 50 ohm terminator on here, you can see that everything balances out, and those two waveforms land right on top of each other. That's our goal, is to make the antenna look like a 50 ohm resistor. And so we'll pull that back off of here. Okay. So what we'll do is take the antenna, hook that into the tuner. Okay. And take the wire from the tuner, which is buried over here, and we'll connect that up to our antenna port on the test circuit. Okay. So now if we take a look at the scope, we can see there's a difference between those two waveforms. And if I start playing around with the controls on the tuner, I can see I can make those two waveforms kind of get close to each other and somewhat match. If I move these things around, you can actually see the phase shift between them. That's indicating whether we're getting inductive or capacitive. And then I'll move this thing around. Let's see if I can get this thing tuned in. I had it pretty close before, but let's see. There we go, really close. Get these dialed in just right. It's really touchy. And there, I got them really, really close right there. So at that point, I've made the two signals kind of match up. That tells me that's making this antenna look like a 50 ohm resistor. And the way we can verify that is, well, actually, I do have an antenna analyzer here. Let's actually go take a look at that. So I'll move the camera over here to the antenna analyzer. And if we turn that on, we'll see the analyzer is set up at 134 megahertz. Let's see if I can dial that down here a little bit, about 18.132 megahertz. I'll take the antenna back out of my test circuit and hook it into the antenna analyzer here. And we'll see that showing SWR of 1.0 is basically pretty flat, resistance of 51 ohms, and a reactance of just 2 or 3 ohms. So that showed us that we're able to make this thing match pretty well, and did it kind of visually by looking at the scope. So I think the next part 2 of this video. All
right, so hey, that was interesting. I never seen anybody do that before with a scope and a signal generator. But wasn't it neat, Glenn, when he put that sine wave right on top of each other with that tuner?
Yeah, that's actually an interesting way to do it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, that's I guess there's all kinds of ways to get there. You know, just we don't know about all of them. You know, and that was really cool there. All right, tell you what we're gonna do tonight. Let's see what else I got here. Let me make an announcement here real quick, and we're gonna open a Zoom lines early for you guys, so you can go to bed early tonight. Would love to have you join us, but first, let me just say to our listeners out there, if you're listening on WBCQ and 7490, this is Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about ham radio, shortwave, and electronics. Would love to have you join us on Tuesday nights to our show. Our video show is Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time on W5KUB. Just go to that. But if you're listening on International Shortwave on 7490, hey, shoot us an email to tom@w5kub.com. tom@w5kub.com. Let us know where you are. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're out there listening on the podcast, we're on every podcast out there: iTunes, iRadio, or Google Play. You can find us anywhere. Just search for Amateur Radio Roundtable. Let's see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to an announcement again. Join our Facebook group. We've got over 13,000 hams now in our group. It's called W5KUB, and also what else? What else, Glenn? Join something else. What am I missing? Oh, there. Facebook group. Oh, subscribe. I know we got a bunch of people watching here, so please subscribe to our channel. And to subscribe, all you got to do is hit that little button down here, somewhere down here in the right down here. It says subscribe, and you'll do us a great favor there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up some phone lines here, I think, and we'll get into the after the show. After the show, is that? Nope, that's not it.
Nope, that's not it.
There we go. We're going to get into after the show right now. So let me post the Zoom link. And guys, you don't have to talk or be on here. Just connect on Zoom and join us that way if you want to. Now, if you connect on Zoom here, you will be part of the show. You will actually be going out on the show, but you'll also be on a direct. You'll be just like Glenn. You'll be a remote co-host for us tonight. So please click on that Zoom and join us. Love to hear from you. Okay, so I'm gonna post it right now. Here we go. Need to get a bigger font. WA4 HFN. WA4 Hot Friday Night is here. Hello, Damon. Damon in Memphis, Tennessee. we'll say hello to Damon. And glad you're with us, Damon. Let me see if I don't see Rick. I don't think Rick made it tonight. WA for NBM. I don't see him in here. Gonna have to get on him, but Damon's in here. Okay, I just sent out the link there, so we should have some people joining us here. We're waiting. Come on, folks, join us. This part of the show, after the show, is just very informal, and we'll talk about just a lot of different things. Whatever you want to talk about. Talk about my rosy cheeks if you want to. I'll tell you the story again about them as I went into the nuclear power plant here a couple weeks ago. So just come on, what's going on here? Zoom is up. I posted the link. Nobody's called in yet. Glenn.
I know it. It's quiet tonight. They're out on a Valentine's date, man.
I'm kind of getting concerned here. Nobody.
They're all doing the Valentine's thing tonight, man.
I guess they are.
I had to stop at the store for some groceries on the way home, and just about everybody in line had a bunch of flowers in their hands, so you knew what was going on.
Yeah, I saw this picture. This girl standing there, and roses were all over the floor, you know. And she says, "Oh no, he's done bought another radio."
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
I actually did not buy a radio this trip.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I knew I was weight limited, but I mean, I ended up buying more odds and ends.
Yeah.
Than anything else, connectors and little things that I found, but nothing big at all.
All right. Well, I'm a little disappointed in our viewer base out there. I'm a little disappointed. Let's see what we got going here. Yeah. Maybe somebody come in a minute.
Yeah, because I'm all out of material for this week. I've been putting together all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Coming on down the pike.
Yeah. Hey, that was almost my first sideband radio. That's a 101. That's a 101. I had the 100. Now I don't know what the difference. I don't know what the difference. The 101 and the 100. I think they were pretty much identical.
They were very similar. I can't remember the exact differences.
Yeah.
Now, my 101, right in there to the right below the meter, in line with those switches, I had a little toggle switch that would toggle in a receive preamp for 10 meters so that I could listen to Oscar 7.
Oh, that's cool. Cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I built mine from scratch.
Well, there's the external power supply that had to go with it. You know, I built my own power supply. I had access to hundreds and hundreds of junk TVs, and it was really easy to pull a TV transformer out and some filter caps and a filament transformer and some diodes, and it was real easy to build my own power supply to run that. And I remember the bias voltage. I think you needed 100 or 110 volts of bias, and that was real easy. You just take a little 110 volt to 6 volt transformer. You turn it around backwards, and you hook the 6 volts to the 6 volt filament line, and you came out 100 volts there, and that became your bias voltage. Of course, after you rectify it.
Yeah, all I remember was the final was a 6146.
Well, it had two of them in it now.
Yeah.
Two 6146s in it. That was neat, man. And that was my first sideband radio.
I really liked mine.
I remember when sideband came out, people didn't like it, man. We were on AM back then, and oh man, they were talking bad about the sidebanders. They called them slop buckets, and they told them go up above. I don't remember what it was. Go up above 3900 where you belong. Now look at it. Look at it now, man. Sideband is the way to go, man.
Absolutely. No, I dearly love my 101 and every rig that followed it. That was my first sideband rig as well.
Yeah. Well, for you guys that missed us last week, I think we introduced our new soldering gun last week. I don't know if you saw it or not, but That's for long distance soldering. It works out pretty well there.
It's also used to take down balloons at 40,000 feet.
It could be. It could be for that, especially. Yeah. Let's see. What else we got going?
By the
here?
way, while we're on the subject of soldering irons, I took my soldering iron and hooked up an ammeter to it.
Yeah.
And my middle, when it's in the middle position.
Wait a minute. Middle? You got 3 positions?
No, there's 2. You know, off, 1 click, and 2 clicks. On mine, the first click is high power. The second click is low power.
Okay, that's what mine is.
So
that's what mine is.
So you said it was the reverse, but
so there, there's some conflicting information out there. I think probably one year they built them the other way, but
yeah, I'm going to say one model they built it that way, and then the other models they built it more conventionally because all my life I thought when you pulled that trigger as hard as you got, you were on full power.
Yeah.
And turns out I was not.
Yeah, man. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Mine was high. Mine is high power all the way back.
Yep, mine is high power in the halfway back.
That means the front.
And
the
I
front click. The first click.
Ammeter.
Let's start over. We got 1 click, 2 clicks. 1 click, you're high. Mine's high on 2 clicks.
Right.
There was a lot of people. We kind of took a survey. There was a lot of people. Second click was high. There were some. First click was high. So.
But I actually put mine to an ammeter and verified it. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's good. That's good. Okay, Mark P there says his is high on 1 click, high power. Well, I think that's just a crazy, stupid way to do it. Make your first click high power. Man, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. What are we going to talk about? Nobody joined us tonight. Let me put that.
Yeah.
Let me put that link
I even
in
took
here
a shower for this thing, man.
Yeah, I know it. Let me put the link in here again. Something's going on, man. I know it's a working link.
No, I think I'm telling you, it's Valentine's Day, and they're all out playing.
Must be. Let's see what else we got now.
I mean, if I didn't have to go to work today, I probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Yep. Well, you're gonna try to retire soon, right?
Yeah,
you don't like working.
No, it's a matter of just getting some things squared away on some other fronts that I'll tell you offline. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, but it's pretty much just give me one bad day and I'm out kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other things going on at the same time. But it's all good.
Yeah, my last job, I worked 34 years there, and it got really political. It got political, and it was buddy, and all that stuff. And we grew from when I started, I was down like 12,000th employee. That sounds high, but I really had a low employee number, 12,000, because I think right now they're up to about 600,000.
Oh yeah,
right now. So. Anyway, it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and we bought more and more companies. It got bigger and bigger, and people would bring their friends in, and their buddies, and when you get in a position like all the people that worked and did everything, they just kind of get run over, and plus you're getting older, you're getting tired of putting up with the stuff, and I retired, and I can't believe I retired 10 years ago. I retired, 2013, man. I cannot believe it, man.
That's amazing. But no, I actually work with a great bunch of folks. It's just, I've been working from home since before Thanksgiving, and I've been planning to retire kind of whenever. And now they've got me going back into the office 3 days a week, and that's all the way across town, driving, on that crazy interstate 3 times a week. And I'm just like, this is too much. What am I doing it for?
Yeah.
So it's literally once I can get the rest of the stars to align, I'm out. But there's just so many balls being juggled in the air right now that it doesn't make sense to do it today. But we're probably within a 90-day window at this point.
Well, that's good, and you won't regret it. I mean, when I left, I didn't look back. I hadn't thought back 1 minute. I wish I was there. I tell you. probably most people that retired have probably said the same thing. It's kind of funny.
Exactly.
It's kind of funny. The first, when you're a little kid, I don't know, first, 15 years, you're just a kid and you just live with your parents, and don't have a job, and it's hard to believe, man. I've been on the back end here. I've been retired now for 10 years, and I don't know, man. I might make it 15 years. I might make it 20 years. I don't know. I've got friends that have been retired 25 years, man. I mean, I can't hardly believe that, man.
No, I decided to retire a little bit early, and I've worked out the numbers, and it just doesn't make sense to continue to work.
Well, I tell you, I didn't see hardly any difference in income, man. Hey, you get your Social Security and you get your other, I don't know if you have a pension. I got a pension and different things.
I've got a 401k.
Yeah. I'm making about as much money retired as I was working, so there's no incentive to go back.
Yeah, I'm okay. But it's literally just, I had to buy a new air conditioner for the house, and then I had to have the pool fixed. And between the two, it's just like, all right, I'm going to work for 3 more months. And then they had me working from home, and it made no sense to retire if I don't have to go to work.
Yeah.
And now that I have to go to work, I'm like, do I want to negotiate and get 1 or 2 days a week, or the 3 days, or I just want to hang up the hat? And there will be discussions going on about that over this weekend and probably next. And I'll have a firm answer by then.
Guys, I want to say so. I just saw the chat room. I'm glad he put in capital letters. I can't believe this. One of my longtime buddies, when I went to Arkansas Tech 50 years ago, he's in the chat room tonight. Ross Longley, W5ZNW. Ross, I kind of remember your call was always ZNW. I think you must have been a WN5 or WA5ZNW, if I'm not mistaken, and you probably dropped the A just like I did at W5KUB. So, hey, Ross, I'm coming over to Russellville the 20th, March the 21st. I'm going to be presenting at the Ham Club Tuesday night, the 21st. So maybe I'll see you there, Ross. And
well, that means you're not going to be doing a show.
Yeah, I don't know what we'll do on a show that night. We might do a rerun that night, or we may just give everybody the night off. I hate, we haven't missed many shows. In 9 years, we've been on 9 years now. I bet we had missed probably 5 shows in about 9 years, and but it won't hurt to miss a show, and it'll be okay. It'll give everybody a break. In fact, guys, let me tell you. I don't know how much longer I can do the show. Getting old here, and man, it takes energy to do it. You got to think up stuff. You got to get it ready. Man, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna do the show. I might do this show another 1 or 2 years, and then I'm probably going to get rid of it. But I hate to just kill the show. I was hoping that when I leave after the show's 10 years and full running strength every week, that somebody could take it over. And I mean, we got a good following out there and a good reputation, so hopefully somebody could. I see Ross is back in. He must have dropped out. W5ZNW Ross. He's joined again. Ross, I'm coming over there 20th of March. I'll be giving a presentation at the Ham Club the 21st. Maybe I'll see you there, Ross. This is one of the guys, this is one of the ham friends I had 50 years ago when I was in college at Arkansas Tech. And cool, man. Let's see. Ross, didn't your call used to be WN5 ZNW? You must have just dropped that N or A like I did. Okay, let's see.
I just dropped my call completely. Mine was WA4. I went from WN4FTX to WA4FTX.
Yeah.
And somebody told me that if I was working a CW pileup, that they'd work 3 or 4 other people by the time I got my call out. So I had to change my call up.
Well, that's why you need an amplifier. See?
No, you need a shorter call.
You just the loudest on there, and hey, everybody else is trying to call. They just get wiped out.
I've never outside of working at your place and some other folks, I've never used an amplifier. I've always been barefoot at 100 watts.
Well, I see Ross is not answering me here. He may be on his telephone, and sometimes on the telephone it's kind of hard. You either got video or you got the chat room,
Yeah.
And so I don't know, but hey, man, I'm so glad that Ross popped on here, man. Man, that is oh man, it makes my day. It really does. Oh gee, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna see Tech. I'm gonna go up on top of Nebo, take the wife up to Nebo, look around, look at the scenery. Probably gonna eat at the Old South. I used to eat at the Old South once a week when I was in college. Man, get that chicken dressing, I think, on Sunday, but I bet you they don't have it anymore there.
Well, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
That was something I did enjoy about Orlando.
Yeah.
Is the food. I grew up in Miami and West Palm, so I got some of my, Southern cuisine down there, the Cuban food, and
Yeah.
actually Thursday night we went to a German restaurant that was just outstanding, up in Sanford, and the food that it's just different from around here is the best way to put it. It wasn't, Mississippi Southern cooking. It was, Florida Southern cooking. And, oh gosh, it was so good.
Yeah. Hey, there's another comment in the chat room about the balloons. If you tuned in late, let me I'm going to try to give you a very condensed version here of what I said at the beginning of the show. One of the Pico balloons was shot down this week. It was the number 3, the number, not the Chinese balloon, but I think it was the third one. Second, there was 4 total, so it had been the third one. One was shot down with a Sidewinder missile. I'm not going to give the call out right now. I'm not going to give out a lot of information here. There was a meeting today with the FBI to discuss Pico, that particular Pico balloon, and everything seems okay and pretty good. And I think what the plan will be is for the government to try to get more in tune with these things and maybe have some kind of access to where they can see them. For instance, we watch them on APRS and Whisper. So, maybe the government needs to start looking there, And, we are working with one government agency, NOAA, have been for the last couple of years. And NOAA is using our Pico balloon data to improve their weather models. So, it's just that everybody don't know about it. And, I think the government kind of got trigger happy, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Hey, the Chinese balloon, there's no doubt in my mind I would have brought that sucker down. I would have brought it down fast.
Yes.
And got that thing down. But then I think they got a little trigger happy on everything. And we're talking about some very small balloons here that's being shot down. And guys, a Sidewinder missile cost $399,000 to $450,000. Plus, then you got to have 2 jets up flying, and then, believe it or not, you've got to have a tanker out there flying around with those jets. So it's a lot of money there, and it's a lot of money to shoot down a $12 balloon. So I kind of look like Glenn. I kind of look at it like this. Let's say there's a white Silverado pickup, and a terrorist is driving it. He's got a nuclear bomb in the back. Well, I think it's okay to blow him up, shoot him with a missile, hit him with a bazooka. But the problem is, after they did that, they started shooting at every white Silverado that was out there, man.
Yeah. No, they've overreacted for sure.
So, don't shoot at every white Silverados out there, man. I mean, there might be some good guys in there. So, anyway, I think the government knows. They just hadn't discussed it. There are other balloons out there for scientific and hobby and other things that maybe they just aren't following or matching up. So that's going to be worked out over the next period of time here. So anyway, just wanted you to know that I'm not going to talk a lot about it. I'm not going to give a lot of detail about it because you never know, how this stuff's going to go. There are hams in every country launching these Pico balloons. We have friends in Poland and Sweden and the UK and Australia, everywhere launching these balloons. So, wow. Anyway, it's going to get straightened out. I can't really talk a lot about it right now. This thing could take a turn. Who knows what? But we do know one of the three they shot down was a Pico balloon. It's one of the balloons that our associates. I'll just say our associates flying. Now, W5KUB 112. It's been up 250 days now. It's already crossed Japan. It's out in the Pacific. It's heading for California, guys. So I'm hoping this gets cleared up before we get to California.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping. I'm hoping that we don't, waste another, $500,000 missile. Plus 112's been doing so good. 250 days up in the air, man.
Yeah.
It may go another 250 days.
Yeah. Assuming it doesn't get shot at.
Yeah, and we're flying at 47,000 feet, which is not just terribly great. 112 started off about 52 or 53,000. That's the first balloon, I think, first-hand balloon that actually broke that glass barrier. Everybody was always flying around, in the 30s, and we just couldn't get out of the 30s unless we bought an SBS balloon. If we bought the SBS balloon, that balloon was $170, and it worked about 10% of the time. But it had the best chance of going up higher, and it would only go up to about 44,000. That was the maximum altitude on it. It had the best chance of going around the world once, actually. But man, this new balloon we found, this $12 sucker, 250 days, it started off at 53,000 feet, so it's doing good, and hopefully,
that's pretty impressive.
Hopefully we won't get it shot down, guys. All you three-letter agencies out there, if you're listening right now, we're not carrying any kind of spy equipment.
All we're carrying is innocent little ants.
We're not carrying anything. In fact, guys, this is it right here. This is all we're carrying right there. That's it right there. That's what we're carrying. It's got a GPS on it. It's got a little Arduino processor. And it's got a little bitty tiny transmitter that tells us where it is, and that's all. There's no other sensors that sense anything. But anyway, let's see. Let me check out the chat room. I cannot believe we don't have anybody that's joined us.
Telling you, it's Valentine's Day.
This is very unusual.
They're already out.
The Super Bowl's not on.
Oh, they're recovering from the Super Bowl, and it's Valentine's Day.
I don't know what's going on here, man.
Man, I can tell you. I saw them in the grocery store. Everybody at the grocery store had flowers except me. I felt kind of self-conscious.
Yeah. Well, there's Ross. Now, Ross is typing in. Hello, Ross. Hello, Ross. I hope you heard what I said a while ago, Ross. I'm coming to Russellville. Maybe I'll see you March the 21st at the club meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, there's big candy sales tomorrow. You betcha.
What's this? Oh, yeah. Oh,
big flower and candy sale tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ross is saying that he used to fly about 48,000 feet on his business jet all the time.
All right. Well, see, that's hard for me to understand because when I knew Ross, he was probably about 16 years old. That's the age frame. I think I remember Ross, I think. Anyway.
That was like me and my friend in Orlando this week. Last time I saw him was like when he was 18.
Yeah. let me check out the chat room here and see what else is going on.
Well, W5DPH has been playing with the Sat box all weekend.
Yeah. The Sat box is a cool box.
Oh, that was one thing. AMSAT had a really nice, I don't know where mine went, but they had a really nice laminated sheet of all, oh, here it is. Really nice laminated sheet of all the satellite frequencies. And
Yeah.
all of that.
Now, when was this?
This sheet is from May 2022, but it was
Okay.
sold at Orlando by AMSAT.
Okay.
I
All right.
picked one up.
All right, Mark K8HIW. Join us on Zoom. I promise we won't give you a hard time.
Yeah. Ross has moved to Florida.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Ross moved to Florida.
Yes.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. I'm confused. Ross is my Altus. Yeah, okay, my mind. Hey, Ross, I'm sorry. I thought you were back in Russellville. You were a few years later when I went in the Air Force, and you were in Altus. I remember. I remember you. Altus, Oklahoma. Yep. Guys, I was in Altus, Oklahoma in the 4th Mob, and actually I have a picture here. Look, there I am. I was in the 4th Mob right there. Ross, look at that, man. You remember the 4th Mob? Yeah. That was on one of our deployments. What they would do, they would call us in the middle of the night and say Paul Revere. And we would all go in, and we would actually, never knew where we were going. We were one of 5 groups in the world. And we took everything necessary to set up an air base anywhere in the world. The desert, swamp, wherever. And we would leave, didn't know when we'd come back. We took our own air traffic control tower on wheels, and all kinds of maintenance, and we had our radio people and everything. And I think I'm right there. I think I'm eating some food I might have snuck in right there. Is there a hot? Yeah, see that little hot plate? That hot plate didn't work out very good. We ran those tents. We had, those were 12-man tents. And let's see who that is. That's Mark. So those are 12-man tents I'm in there, and they had basically one big light bulb in the center, and they ran off of, I don't know, probably a big old diesel generator. I bet it wasn't but 5 kW. But anyway, I would always carry, one of those light sockets you screw in. It's got the little 2-plug holes on the side, and you can put a bulb in it, and it's got the chain. You know what I'm talking about? I'd always take that and extension cord there, and I'd plug that hot plate in, because all we had to eat was sea rations. So I'd plug that hot plate in, and I'd carry my own food. And when I flip that hot plate on, you hear that generator out there go, and the lights would dim, and I'd flip it off, and it'd go, and the lights would come back on. And then about 20 seconds later, somebody would run to the door of the tent and fly the tent door open. Say, anybody here got a hot plate? No, nobody in here. But that was a fun time right there. So we went out mostly in the winter time when there was snow on the ground. I don't understand that. We would put our tents up with snow on the ground, and it would take about 3 days for the snow inside the tent to melt. But I want to tell you, I could carry, 6 packs of Coca-Cola and stuff, and I had my own ice box, man. You just stick it out under the edge of the tent right there in that snow, and it kept them cold the next morning, man. Pop that thing open. Now it was a little cool in the morning, so we had a little pot-bellied stove there in there, and we had a jerry can outside with I think it was JP4 fuel probably, and it just a little hose ran inside and it just dropped into that little bowl of that stove, and we threw a match in there and it burned, But by morning time, that jerry can would run out of gas or JP4, and it'd be a little cool in here. But hey, I survived it, and in fact, that's the group right there that sent me to a combat survival school. I went to a survival school, and that group right there, man. So I guess that's why I've made it as long as I have, Glenn.
Yeah, if you survive that, you can survive anything.
That's right, man.
But Ross is saying you lived on peanut butter.
I did,
sandwiches.
and I took peanut butter with me. I took bread with me, and I took crackers with me on those trips. In my duffel bag, and nobody ever said anything. I mean, heck, take a can of chili with me. You open that can of chili up and heat it up there. I finally went to a little Sterno stove. That hot plate just wouldn't work there. Yeah, Ross. Yeah, Altus. I remember you. Hey, in Altus, Ross, I had my antenna in the backyard. I had an 18 AVQ vertical, 80 through 10 vertical, ground mounted out in the center of the backyard. And out in Altus, nobody had any grass. It was all burned off, basically. And behind me, you could always see tumbleweed rolling back here. But anyway, no grass, in the yard, basically. And I had a faucet. My faucet dripped on the house. So I just ran me a hose out there to my antenna and laid that hose right there. And man, I had the nicest, greenest, round patch of green grass around that antenna I've ever seen. Good old days. Ross, man, had fun, Ross.
Yeah, Model 15s and homebrew. Yep, I had a homebrew terminal unit. I actually had a Kleinschmidt PT59 instead of the Model 15. But yeah, I loved teletype back in the day. That was fun.
And Ross had I think Ross had the Model 15 here. I had a Model 15 here. See, the Air Force sent me to teletype repair school, and that school was 9 months long. And I learned how to repair. Well, my school wasn't on the old 15s or the 19s. That's the old one, It was on the Model 28s, the Model 28 ASR, KSR. It was on the Model 35s.
I did plenty of work on the 33s
and the Kleinschmidt. We had Kleinschmidt teletype. But I started off with a Model 15 there in Altus, and I got a picture somewhere of me working on it there while I'm back in the ham shack. I'll have to find that picture and bring it out here. But yeah, that was fun times. Yeah. Oh, well, Ross, Ross, are you retired, Ross? You're probably an old guy now by now, right, Ross? Are you an old guy and retired, Ross? See.
He said he ran a Model 15 that you helped him get going for a long time.
Yeah. Lawton. Let's see, who's that in Lawton? Oh, that's their place. Are you in Lawton? Okay, W5DPH, Lawton. He said he's in Lawton. Now, Lawton. Is that where Fort Sill was? Help me here, DPH. Was Fort Sill at Lawton? My mind after 50 years is not working really, really good. Let's see what they say. Fort Sill is an Army base here.
In the meantime, you've got Mark joined us here.
Yeah, but I'm not going to bother him. I'm not going to bother him, man. He didn't want to come on here. He felt like I'd bother him. Hey, Mark, you made any contacts on that radio? Come on, Mark.
You got to unmute first.
You got to unmute, Mark. Ross says, "Yep, got 70 here." Well, yeah. Well, Ross, I got a little bit more on you than that, man. 70. Yeah. Well, I tell you.
You both got some on me.
I tell you though, Ross will probably tell you, it's fun being this age. It's really fun being this age if you can put up with all the aches and pains and knee problems and everything else, man.
Hey, I get that too, man. I went to bed with the stiffest neck last night because I fell asleep in my chair.
Yeah, so it's Fort Sill. Is Fort Sill at Lawton? I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. Guys, tell me. I remember I was in the Air Force, but I went to Fort Sill They took me to Fort Sill 2 weeks, and it was kind of a combat school, and we went out. We went out to Fort Sill. It was wintertime, man. We got in our Air Force trucks, deuce and a halfs, and we drove to Fort Sill, and we came up to this gate. I don't know, opposite end of the base, and we had a key to go in. It was all prearranged, but man, it was cold. It was sleeting. It was raining. It was sleeting. The chill factor was like 20 below zero. And basically, that was the survival school, one of the survival schools they put me through. And that was out in Fort Sill. We were out in Fort Sill. We got there about midnight. Everything was iced over. You couldn't get a fire going. All the wood had ice on it. We put our tent was a parachute. We tied a parachute up on a limb to make a teepee. But at midnight we didn't pick the best limb. It broke and fell in on us. I was out there 14 days. I think I slept in a foxhole 2 or 3 days. Shot somebody in the ear that was trying to sneak up on us. Actually, it was a blank, and we had a suppressor on the end. So I guess the fire comes out the sides when you shoot. But anyway, I heard this guy sneaking up on our foxhole, and I just tired. I just lay my rifle out there and pull the trigger, and bam, man, I get the guy right in the ear, and he jumps up, cussing me out. I shot him in the ear. I said, well, you shouldn't have been sneaking up on us. Okay. So anyway. So, but I developed a really, really bad nosebleed while I was out there. I mean, you take a beach towel, I could fill that up with blood, man, when my nose started bleeding. So they took me to an Army doctor. I think my 12th day, they took me to an Army doctor, and I haven't shaved in 12 days. I was dirty. I smelled like CS riot gas because I'd been in a lot of riot gas. Hair was all messed up. I went in, nosebleed, and I can't believe it. The first thing the doctor said to me was, "What are they doing to you out there?" So he said, "I can send you back home, man. You don't have to go back out there." And I said, "No." I said, "I only got 2 more days. I'm going to finish this, or I'll have to repeat it." So I've already spent 12 days. So anyway, I finished it, and I learned how to, dress a deer and take his intestines out and turn his intestines inside out and clean them and take his brains and stuff it and make link sausage. And, maybe we have a show on that someday, guys. The thing is, I don't think we could ever catch a deer out there, I remember Fort Sill, they would shoot the artillery over us there at night. And I'm glad it made it over us. I don't know where it was going. We were somewhere under the artillery arc. Yeah.
That didn't seem very safe.
Yeah.
One short round and you guys will be having some fun.
Yeah. All right. Oh man. Hey, it's been a fun night, man. Talking about old times here. And hey, man, Ross. So glad to run into you, man. Where the buffalo roam, yeah. Well, I tell you, in Altus, we had on the base out on, we call it the lower 40 or something. The base was really big, and anyway, it kind of out in a unpopulated area of the base. We would have rabbits out there. Jackrabbits. These suckers were big, man. When they would stand up on their back legs, and their ears sticking up. Some of those jackrabbits looked like they were 5 feet tall, man. They were big suckers. You might think they're kangaroos. Oh, yeah, I'd like to get back out to Altus and check it out. But the problem is nowadays you can't even get on the base. Everything's locked down after 9/11 and all that. So I wouldn't be able to see anything really.
Yeah, they saw me come and canceled the draft, so I didn't have to go through any of that stuff.
Well, I think they canceled it because they needed one more person and they wanted me. So, yeah. So Uncle Sam said, I'm really wanting you. And I said, no, you're not going to get, you're not going to get me for 2 years. I'm joining for 4, man. I'm joining for 4. And that was a good move. I don't regret it. I look back all the time and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I was gonna go, and then they canceled the draft, and I'm just like, never mind.
Yeah.
So instead, I spent 7 years in military jet engine research, which was a lot more fun.
All right, guys. Well, look, I think we're gonna go ahead and close the show down. We're a little bit over right now. I was hoping to hold it to about an hour and a half tonight, but. Thanks to everybody for tuning in and joining us. And hey, we're always looking for some subject matter. If you got something you want us to, to talk about, or show, or demo, or research, shoot us an email, and we'll try to get it on the show for you. And look forward to next week, where we'll see you next week. I don't see our new friend Ben, the retired Arkansas State Police. I was hoping he'd be on here tonight. He found us last week. All right, guys. 73. Good night to everybody out there. Thanks for joining us. We had a good time with you tonight. Hope the stories weren't too painful tonight, and hopefully next week my cheeks will be less red. They're supposed to be getting. They're supposed to be getting.
It's looking a lot better than it did last time.
They're supposed to be getting a little lighter every week, man. I was hoping by the first week it'd be back to normal, but I've been off I've been off that chemo cream for a week and 2 days now. So,
I'll give you about another 2 weeks before it's all gone.
Yeah, I'll imagine so.
But it's faded pretty good. It's nowhere near what it was last week.
Yeah. I mean, I could scare everybody, Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you later. 73. Good night. I'll close the show with a clip here from Glen.
Oh, there you go.
So you're saying I can ask this?
It's a computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
All right. Oh, well, let's say DPH here said he was talking about the 5FU. That's what I used. Yeah, 5FU. It's got a big long name. I don't know what it is, but that's what it was, and it wasn't too bad actually. I looked at some videos of guys using it, and it was pretty rough on them, and they said, this is some bad stuff, and another guy says, I never want to do this again. But mine wasn't that bad, So we'll see how it goes, and hey, it's better to proactively take care of yourself instead of, if anybody's got anything going, get your skin checked, man. I mean, skin cancer, if it develops, it can be serious, so get it checked. We'll see you. Good night, everybody. Again, I've done said that too many times. See you later.